One great way to customize a room is to give people the ability to interact with the meeting beyond just watching what you're telling them. And the chat pod is perfect for that. And that's what I have here. Now, it works very much like a standard instant messaging pod, so most people will have some familiarity with it. But I want to go over some of its capabilities because they go a little beyond standard IM, and they can be really helpful in a meeting where you're trying to generate discussion. So what I'm going to do here in this meeting, you can see that I have some participants, and we're about to get started, but I want to get them active. I want them to lean into the meeting, not sit back and just watch. So I'm going to ask a question in the chat pod. How is the weather where you are today? So what that should do is spur some conversation among my participants. Get them talking to me, get them talking to each other. Now, at this point though, the chat pod's going to start to fill up with comments, and that's great. But I want to make sure that I can see who is speaking quickly, especially if it's someone of some importance. So I've got Olivia here, and unfortunately for Olivia, it's raining cats and dogs. When I'm communicating with Olivia, I really want to be able to see what she's saying. So I'm going to have her do what I'm about to do so that she and I can sort of stand out in the chat. I'm going to change my text size, and I'll make it just a little bigger. And that makes it easier for me to read. But I'm also going to change my chat color to purple. And now, my chats are purple. And you'll see when Olivia chats, her messages are going to be in a different color. That's really, really handy because what that means is that when I see something that is a color that Olivia has chosen, it's very easy for me to spot that. And when you're in the midst of a meeting and you're working along with a lot of information, it's really handy to be able to see, in this case, that Olivia is green. Now, the final thing that's not obvious that the chat pod can do for you is it can become a hot link tool. So I'm going to say to Olivia, hey, Olivia, why don't you give the participants your email address so that they can email you some really great ideas about what we're going to do with the twotreesoliveoil.com website. So she's going to go ahead and do that. And there, her email address, you can see, looks like a hyperlink. And the good news is, because Olivia has her chat pod set to large text, she can see that she made a mistake there, and she can go ahead and correct it. Now, I'm going to ask a question. How do you all like the new Two Trees website? And some people are going to respond that they like it, but I'm going to ask Olivia to go ahead and put the URL in there because I want people to take a look at it as a part of the discussion. And there's the website. Now I'm going to expand the pod just a little bit so that I can see both of those hot links. If I roll my cursor over them, you can see that my cursor changes into that little sort of I'm going to go somewhere else finger. If I clicked on her email address, it would launch my email client and it would start an email message already addressed to Olivia. If I click on the website, it would actually take me to twotreesoliveoil.com. And so this is a great way not just to have people chat, but to deliver some information. And in fact, because these hot links exist this way, you can send people out to look at some stuff, do some research as a part of the meeting, and as a part of the way, you'll develop some conversation in the meeting. Now, the final thing that you can do with the chat pod is you may see that there's some really good conversation in there that you want to keep. Well, much like the note pod, under the pod options, you can email chat history. What this will do is that will email the chat history as an email to the account that you have set up that you're using for your login. So you can actually capture all of this conversation and then use it for later discussion or for minutes or whatever it might be appropriate to use for. And once you've emailed the chat log to yourself and you've used the chat pod, there's one little bit of housekeeping that you may want to do. Under the pod options, you have the ability to clear the chat. And it's a good idea if you've had a really robust conversation and there's been a lot of back and forth to go ahead and clear it out by selecting Clear Chat. And that's how the chat pod can allow you to bring people into the meeting and engage them much more fully than by asking them simply to watch what you're doing. It's a way that you can get conversation rolling. It's a way that you can gather feedback from people. And it's a way that you can customize the experience of your meeting to make it more for the people that you have in your meeting and less about just the information that you want to show them.